Now I want to introduce you to a function that's pretty useful because our programs are a lot better if we make them interactive. So if you give me a sec here to get set up. Okay. So if you declare a variable here, I declare a variable called first name, and then I have an equal sign, so I'm assigning to it, and then I'm using the input function, and then I have a question here, what is your first name? So when the program runs, it'll encounter that command, and it will print out what is your first name. It'll wait for the user to type in their first name, and then I save it, assign it to the variable first name. And then I have a simple print here where I have the string hello and then the first name. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to go ahead and run this. Uh-oh, I have a syntax error. I am missing, look at that, a real live error right in front of you. I am missing a parenthesis. All right, let's try to run that again. Yay, all right. So there it is. What is your first name? I'm going to put Homer, and then I'm going to hit enter, and sure enough, hello, Homer. That's nice. All right. I'm gonna add some complexity in here. I'm gonna have it ask a couple more questions, right? So in a previous video, we talked about data types. So when they created Python and they created this input function, they had to decide what is the default data type that it would collect. And the default that they chose is a string. The problem with everything that it collects being a string, what if I ask for a number like this? What is the number of miles? How many miles did you drive? That's going to be a number, right? And down here, I'd like to do a quick calculation using that number. The problem is if input collected that number, say 100, as a string, you can't do mathematical calculations with the string. It's the wrong data type. So we have to instruct Python to collect whatever the user types in, and then make sure we explicitly save it as, in this case, I chose an int. All right, this is called casting, and you simply have the data type you would like to change it to, and then I have everything that it's going to work with inside of the parentheses there. All right, I did the same thing for gallons of gas, and I'd like that to be an int as well. So I ask how many gallons of gas did you use? Then I'm doing a quick calculation here where I take the number of miles and I divide by the number of gallons of gas, and then that gets assigned to the variable mileage, and then I'm going to print out the mileage to the screen. All right, let's try this and see if this works. All right, what is your first name? My first name is Jason. How many miles did you drive? I drove 120 miles and I had 8 gallons of gas. There you go. 8 goes into 120 exactly 15 times, so the mileage is 15. That is pretty cool. That is really cool. So I'm going to re-emphasize that input defaults to collecting data as a string. And if you would like to do mathematics with what the data you get from the user, you have to do this thing right here. In fact, I'm going to type it as a comment here. This is casting. You're casting a variable or a value to the correct data type that you want. All right. Just as another quick trick here, let's say I'm working with decimals. I can put in there floats, and let's go ahead and run that as well. What is your first name? Jason. How many miles? 100. 10 gallons of gas. There you go. My answer is a float there. All right, still works. Again, that is a lot going on in one place, but the most important thing to remember is that you can cast your values to make them numbers, so that way you can use them in calculations.